People can start finding their seats, please. At this time, I would like to invite up the president of Congregation Beth Israel, Todd Hornick. Todd?
Gracious. Welcome, everybody. I thought this was going to be a little more off the cuff than I'm going to do now. I also thought I'd have a podium. So I'm tremendously honored to be here to introduce this night. I know all of us are here for really one big reason, one tremendous person, but we're all really part of this community that Alisa has shown us how great it is to be together. So I wrote down a couple of ideas. They won't come out well. So seasonally speaking, I've been a part of this congregation for a little more than 15 years now, and I've been honored to lead for the past 2. But when I first stepped foot into Congregation Beth Israel, with my background from a conservative Jewish upbringing, a cantorial soloist with a guitar was a tough thing to understand. And in keeping what I know will happen with my family on Friday night, it was like an orange on a Seder plate. Sorry. But like the orange...
Try not to step on the board.
There you go. Takes a village. But like the orange on a Seder plate, I've come to expect it, I've come to need it, I've come to honor its meaning. I think the journey that Alisa has embarked on, that this project is a capstone of, is an inspiration to all of us. To see how someone in a position of leadership has let the fire within her grow, and how that fire lights all of us when we get to be warmed by it, by her voice, by her inspiration, by her very appearance. It is a true joy every time that I have an opportunity, that we have an opportunity to be with her. Today should be no exceptions. I'll try to go real quick. I wanted to talk just a minute about what a chazan is, what an ordained cantor Alisa will be for all of us. And I came across the words Baal Tefillah, a master of prayer, a shaliat tzibur, an emissary of song. And I thought, again, personally, about what and how she has inspired me. And for me, that moment is the Baruch Hu. And in my mind, I see my emissary, I see my reader, my cantor, opening the gates for all of us to follow. Because there is no chazan without a congregation. And there is no congregation without a chazan. I am proud. So I've said it already, I'm proud to be here. I'm so glad to see every one of you here. I'm sure I'll be very glad to see every one of you here next Friday as well. So let me just say in concluding, Kol Hanshama Tehallel, Hallelujah.
Todd, beautiful words. You're a hard person to follow. Thank you very much. Do not come to services next Friday night. It's the first night of Passover. We're not going to have our services, so in 2 weeks we'll see you all at Shabbat services. So I think I first met Alisa about 21 years ago or so, when I was I was the new rabbi at the congregation. I'd been here for a year or so, 2 years, and we were going to have a bar mitzvah, and we didn't have someone to sing at the services, and the congregation was pretty sure I wasn't the person to lead the singing for that bar mitzvah service. And someone suggested this young woman who had been a song leader at camp and was a brilliant folk singer and does this at other congregations, and they mentioned Alisa Fineman. And I called, and she was available to come and help lead that Shabbat service. And that was about 21 years ago, or 22 years ago. And very quickly we realized this was a good thing to do for our congregation. And so whenever there was a bar or bat mitzvah, Alisa was the first person we would call, and hopefully she could schedule us in, because I knew very few music professionals who were so busy performing all over the peninsula and really all over the United States, and sometimes I think outside the United States. She was just so much in demand for her music. And it was so wonderful that we suggested, well, why don't you start doing this maybe once a month? And that evolved to, you know, this is so nice, the congregation really likes it, and we get a much better turnout when you're singing. Why don't you try twice a month? And then it evolved to 3 times a month. And then why are we bringing in a cantor for high holidays when you're our cantor? Maybe not by ordination, but you're the congregation's cantor. And so Alisa became really our special cantor, soloist, who was here for almost every Friday night of the month, pretty much every other weekend for our religious school, for all our holidays, for our chagim, for every event that we'd ever want someone to lift us up with voice. Alisa was joining us. And then about 6, 7 years ago, people started to suggest to her, you know, you're a cantor in practice, why don't you formalize it? And Alisa realized her love for Judaism, her love for music, it was really the only sensible next step to take. And so she started to look into this possibility of formalizing who she was in heart and spirit and in song, and to become a cantor. And so a little over, 4 years ago, she enrolled in Cantorial program. So how would I describe Alisa? I had to write this down because I wanted to get it correctly. You take kindness, spirituality, love, sensitivity, a little artsy-fartsy, warmth, passion, a desire to discover one's Jewish journey, intelligence, caring, an incredible voice, a love of people, and a dedication to those around her. And you put those together, and you create who will soon be cantor Alisa Fineman. Let's welcome Alisa Fineman.
Vayita Adonai Elohim Gan be'eden mikedem eternal living mystery planted a garden in Eden to the east. Venahar yotzei me'eden Lashkot et Dagan. A river flows from Eden to water the garden. Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden, the garden of my Lord, who walks in this garden in the cool of the day. Shabbat, the Sabbath, is a metaphor for the garden, a day set apart for celebrating creation and honoring its rhythms, a day set apart for ceasing from our labors in order to tune in to things eternal, and a time to connect with loved ones. Abraham Joshua Heschel says that Shabbat is a time to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation, from the world of creating to the creation of the world. And I'm going to say that one more time because this is one of my favorite quotes. Shabbat is a time to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creating to the creation of the world. It is a holy day given more attention than any other holy day discussed in the Torah. Rabbi Elliot Dorff writes, "In the midst of one's busy life, one sometimes loses the forest for the trees. We get so involved in what we are doing that we lose sight of why we are doing it in the first place." For those of us who have gardens, we know they require tending, upkeep, and maintenance. The same goes for the gardens of our soul. The root of the Hebrew word zamer, as in Zamru Ladonai or Mizmor Shir, is often translated as singing praises, usually to God. But traced back to its Semitic roots, it also means pruning, as in pruning a tree. Our tradition understands that in order to keep the garden alive and healthy within us, we must take time to tend it by pruning away all that hinders joy, all that hinders gratitude, fulfillment, and living a meaningful life. The ritual of Kabbalat Shabbat means opening to or receiving the Sabbath, and it comes before the main body of the Sabbath service. It evolved over time for the purpose of helping us to transition from the demands of daily life to our natural state of awe and wonder, awakened once again each Shabbat to the majesty of nature and our place in it. Its origins go back to a personal practice of 2 second-century rabbis who called out to each other, "Come, let us go out to greet the Sabbath bride. Enter, O Queen. Shabbata Malka, Boi Malka." Enamored by this practice, rabbis of the Eastern Galilee expanded upon it by actually going out into the fields at sunset to celebrate the divine reunion of God and Shekhinah, the mother presence of God, the reunion of male and female, of heaven and earth, of body and soul, of heart and mind, of the people and God. Their intention for beginning Shabbat with this ritual was that in the act of welcoming this special guest we call the Sabbath bride, we are essentially reunifying the disparate parts or broken pieces of our own lives, and in doing so, help unify the broken pieces of our world. The creativity and imagination that flourished among these rabbis of the Eastern Galilee resulted in the expansion of what was once a very brief section of the Sabbath service. They added the chanting of Shir HaShirim, the love songs of the Bible, known in English as the Song of Songs. They also added additional psalms that speak to the grandeur of nature. Because of its beauty, The Kabbalat Shabbat service is now an integral part of every prayer book in Jewish communities around the world. As we begin our journey back to the garden, we call upon our angels, messengers of peace, with the singing of Shalom Aleichem to accompany us on our way. This liturgical poem reminds us that we are not alone, but surrounded by angels, not only within the celestial realms, but also within our very midst, within our community, seated right next to us. We greet them and we greet each other with Shalom Aleichem. Peace be upon you. And then, as a community, we go out into the field together to greet, to welcome, and to sing to Shabbat HaMalkah, the Sabbath Queen. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Orechem b'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Tzedkem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. החמה מראש האילנות נסתלקה, ובנצא לקראת שבת המלכה. החמה מראש האילנות נסתלקה, ובנצא לקראת שבת המלכה. הנה הנה יורדת הקדושה Shalom umenucha, boi, 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 boi amalcha, boi, 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 boi achana. A number of liturgical poems recited during Kabbalat Shabbat speak to a universal longing, a desire for understanding, love, and connection, drawing on metaphors from the garden. Like a deer longs for streams of water, so my soul longs for you, source of wonder and mystery. My soul is thirsty. Poems like this offer reassurance that the quest for meaning runs deep within the human heart. Rabbi Shefa Gold calls it the holy longing. Our spiritual energy, she says, depends on cultivating a longing for the divine, for it is our longing that allows us to open to love, to the infinite, to the vastness of being. Secular songs speak to this holy longing as well. Just as the rabbis were inspired to add psalms and love songs meaningful to them, what psalms might we add to ready us for Shabbat? The song Woodstock by Joni Mitchell, followed by the psalm Tzama Nafshi, embody two different experiences and expressions of holy longing for a return to sacred space, a place of wholeness, belonging, and celebration. I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Where are you going?" And this he told me: "I'm going on down to Yasker's farm. I'm gonna join in a rock and roll band. I'm going to camp out on the land. I'm gonna get my soul free. We are stardust. We are golden. And we've got to get ourselves back to the garden." Well, can I walk beside you? I have come here to lose the spark, and I feel to be a cog in something turning. Maybe it is just the time of the week, or maybe it's the time at hand. I want to know who I am, you know, life's for learning. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. We are stardust, a million-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in a devil's bargain, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Sama nafshi. Among its multiple themes, Shabbat is a spiritual love fest. The Song of Songs, customarily chanted prior to Kabbalat Shabbat by many communities, celebrates the pleasures of the body and implores us to receive God's love in the wonder of nature. Its mystic poetry, lush with the imagery of the garden, urges us to go outside. Rabbi Shefa Gold says, thinking about love will not reveal its mysteries. We must enter through the senses, get our feet dirty, express our passionate longings, and breathe in the fragrances that surround us. Bati legani, I have come into my garden, is a verse from the Song of Songs that the Lubavitcher Rebbes have expounded upon at great length. Exploring its meaning, one of them asks, which garden? Who is coming to this garden? And why is this arrival in the garden such an important message? To which one of the rabbis responds, it is because the garden is our world. The Song of Songs calls us to wake up to love, and wake up to the one knocking at our door or calling to us from the garden gate. It is the poetry of union with another being, with all beings, of I and thou, for which Kabbalat Shabbat becomes the wedding and the potential for such union and state of being. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. I have come into my garden. Dotili va'ani ledoti, dotili va'ani ledoti.
Dodi li va'ani lidodi.
Hinach yafa rayati.
Hinach yafa enayich
Yoni. Hincha yafa dodi.
afnaim, afnaim. Dodi li va'ani lidodi. Dodi li va'ani lidodi.
Kumilach rayati afati.
Ulchilach Yonati,
Yonati. Sheyafu achayom.
V'nasu hatzlalim, v'nasu hatzlalim. Dodi li va'ani lidodi. Dodi li va'ani lidodi.
Harini parai.
Hashmini et kolech
Dodi. Kikolech arev umarev.
Navedodi, Navedodi. Dodi li va'ani lidodi. Dodi li va'ani lidodi.
Dvash, dvash v'challah.
Tachat lishonech, tachat
Lishoni. Smolot tachat roshi.
v'mino techavkeni. Dodi li va'ani lidodi. Dodi li va'ani lidodi.
Kol yamai shiviti.
El Shaddai negdi tamid.
Kol yamai shiviti.
El Shaddai lenegdi tamid. Dodi li va'ani lidodi. Dodi li va'ani lidodi. Dodi li va'ani lidodi. Dodi li va'ani ריח מן החלונות, מציץ מן החרקים. באתי לכאן מאחותי חלה, אריתי מורי עם בשמי. באתי לכאן אחותי חלה, אריתי מורי עם בשמי. כל דודי דופק בתחילי, כל דודי דופק בתחילי, בתחילי אחותי רעייתי, בתחילי, בתחילי. באתי לכאן אחותי חלה, אריתי מורי עם בשמי. באתי לכאן אחותי חלה, אריתי מורי עם בשמי. Six psalms were added to the Kabbalat Shabbat service, one to honor and let go each day of the week. 6 psalms for 6 days of the week, a way to help us gradually transition to a place of Shabbat. Each psalm a step along the pathway to the garden gate. They speak to the grandeur and power of nature, calling on us to sing and shout out our joy and gratitude, our inner hallelujah for it all. What a revelation that no matter how I feel, no matter the cares of daily life, I still have the capacity for joy, which I am instructed to locate on Shabbat. This is a practice in and of itself, one which Reb Nachman of Bratslav taught as an antidote for depression. Many congregations, however, choose to sing only one or two of these psalms or skip them all together for concern of time and length of the service. As my appreciation grew for the intent of these psalms, I wondered if we were not perhaps depriving ourselves of its benefit. As a composer, I was intrigued by the idea of weaving the themes of love and longing from the Song of Songs with the tradition of the reciting of the 6 psalms by highlighting snippets from each on our way to the garden gate. After chanting these 6 psalms, many communities add one more poem called Ana B'choach, with the intent to release any final stumbling blocks that stand between me and my garden, me and my soul, me and my beloved. Please untie our tangles, it entreats, so that we may fully enter into the presence of oneness and love. Et ונננה לאדוני, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, אור זרוע לצדיק, וישרה לב שמחה. חדש, כי נפלאות עשה. רממו אדוני אלוהינו, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו. אתוני כלה, בואי לגני. אתוני כלה,
ענה בכוח גדולת ימינך תתיר צרורה ענה בכוח גדולת ימינך תתיר צרורה ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם העד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם העד ענה
with that one. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. The moment of arrival. We are now about to enter the garden, calling out to each other to rise and greet the presence of love, standing at one again with our beloved beneath the wedding canopy. This sacred imagery is contained in the poem Lecha Dodi, considered the crown jewel of Kabbalat Shabbat, giving it its ultimate glory. Most scholars agree that there would not even be a Kabbalat Shabbat without this poem by Solomon Halevi Alkabetz, who embedded in its lyrics an encoded conversation about Shabbat with many allusions to the divine reunion, many of which are also found in the Song of Songs. It expresses the drama of the Shabbat ritual as a reenactment of a sacred wedding to be sung as a wedding song. Says depth psychologist Jeanette Bland, Lecha Dodi represents a rejoining of self and soul. Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan wrote, "The mystery of the Sabbath is unity." The mystery of the Sabbath is unity. It's important to remember that the meanings of this poem are not fixed, but dynamic and multi-layered, inviting each of us personally to step in to our own place underneath the wedding canopy, each Shabbat with our beloved, open on all sides to the garden of love. Rarely has a single liturgical poem seized the imagination of an entire people so quickly, so thoroughly, and so lastingly as Lecha Dodi, says Rabbi Larry Hoffman. A dream made manifest of those early Talmudic rabbis who envisioned the ritualized means for whole communities to go outside and to greet Shabbat. Containing hidden meanings and double entendres that mesmerize, this poem attracted hundreds of tunes from all over the diaspora and continues to do so today, even sung to such melodies like Blackbird by Paul McCartney, Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, and John Legend's All of Me. As we've already discovered, secular melodies also speak to many of the same themes that our prayers do. I share with you The Farthest Field by David Dodson, which, like Lecha Dodi, invites us to walk into the fields, to join our communities together, to make manifest our dreams of a sustainable world, a garden of unity and peace, calm and beauty. דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. תוכחי ומה תהמי, אך יחסו עניי עמי ונבנתה עיר אל תילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת Zochamunei Am Sigula O Ichala O Ichala Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Shalom, Boi v'shalom, Boi v'shalom, Boi v'shalom. Shalom, shalom. Boi v'shalom, Boi v'shalom, Boi v'shalom. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat. And so, we've returned to the garden, an idealized state of wholeness and harmony. Kabbalat Shabbat offers us a map of opportunities passed down to us by our rabbis, composers, mystics, and liturgical poets, enabling each of us to explore our own pathway to the garden we call Shabbat. With joy and gratitude, we sing love songs to the majesty and beauty of nature and to each other, sensing our interdependence and interconnectedness with all life. The practice of Shabbat nourishes our spiritual connection to the garden, and for many of us, our physical roots in the natural world, and in so doing, makes us more inclined to care and protect her. Judaism and Shabbat place enormous value on the concept of partnership with the divine in the ongoing work of creation and the garden we call home. I would like to thank you all so much for being here, and once again, to all these amazing and beautiful musicians. Wow. Thank you. Wow.
And I wish I could stand up here a little longer. I'm just recognizing all of you out there. I just can't, who've come from far and wide. And thank you so much for celebrating this day with me and being here together. I can't tell you how I'm feeling it head to toe. We have one more song. We end the evening with a psalm specifically written for the Sabbath. It is said that on the seventh day, all creation burst into song with Magadlu. How wondrous, how profound are your works, how deep are the designs, the patterns, and orderings of the cosmos, of creation. It is a good thing to sing a song to this day that honors the garden of life and well-being. Elated, we have arrived in the garden to find that the garden resides in each of us.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Magadu, 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 masekaya. Magadu, magadu, me'adam ku machshivotecha. Magadu, 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 masekaya. Magadu, magadu, me'adam ku machshivotecha. ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מגדו, 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 מעשה חיה. מגדו, מגדו, מעולם קום מחשבותיך. Magadu, magadu, me'odam ku machshivotecha. Yisimchtani, Adonai b'fonecha, v'ma'aseh yadecha, yadecha, aranein. Magadu, magadu, maaseh chaya. Magadu, magadu, me'odam ku machshivotecha. Magadu, 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 maaseh chaya. Magadu, magadu, me'odam ku machshivotecha. Hallelujah. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy. Nina and Lawson, come on back here for just a little reprieve of Lecha Dodi. That was so pretty. Gordon, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi.
Hey, great job, you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for Alisa Fineman. She will be ordained May 3rd. May 3rd, Alisa Fineman will be ordained cantor, will be returning to our community. And you can come every Friday night for a concert here at the synagogue. Meanwhile, we have lots of good food. Please, those of you who are at the very back, if you want to put some chairs around some of the tables, those chairs you borrowed because there are so many of you, let's enjoy some dining and visiting together. Thank you all for being here.